Hi, it's Anna, the producer of the Montel Weekly podcast. Have you attended any of the Montel Energy Days or Montel Market Insights over the spring months? Barcelona? Aarhus? Haven't we met there? A couple of months ago, Richard Thversen, Montel Editor-in-Chief Europe, and Chris Eales, Montel Editor France, were in Paris for the French Energy Day. You can probably guess how much is happening on such events. Presentations, various angles, a multitude of interesting speakers, networking, someone wants to introduce you to that man over there. Luckily, Richard and Chris managed to sit down with some extraordinary guests and interview them for the podcast. Yara Chakhtoura, Managing Director of Vattenfall Eolien, Jean-Christophe Niel, Director General at IRSN, and Yves Marignac, Director at WISE Paris. They all joined to talk about the outlook for renewables in France and safety issues at its nuclear fleet. Here is the part from the interview with Yves Marignac.
Jean-Christophe had to leave us, Yves, but thankfully you're here to sort of explain your position. How would you react to that and the discussion today at the French Energy Day?
Well, I think first of all, I mean, there's a technical analysis done by institutional players like IRSN, who have a lot of manwork to put in that kind of thing. Our position at WISE Paris is much more modest. We are, trying to identify critical issues, and develop some analysis to challenge the institutional one on this. And my concern is less with the kind of technical assessment that IRSN could provide in the system today than, on one hand, with the loss of capacity of the operators to deliver on safety requirements and quality requirements, and on the other hand, regarding the loss of capacity of the safety authority to impose on operators to respect those requirements in due time.
So you don't think they have the teeth? But that's ASN really? There's a lack of power to enforce safety standards?
I mean, what we are seeing is an increasing number of issues with non-compliance, quality of fabrication, loss of maintenance, delays in starting some works, in completing others. And that's partly because the operators are not behaving up to the kind of requirements and the level of responsibility that is there, and partly because ASN seems to lack the means, the power to impose a better behavior on the operators.
So the ASN is the safety authority, and IRSN, who you've just spoken to, they are just the technical
support
arm,
organization.
So could you give some examples of this, Yves?
If you want to hear more about the developments on the topic of renewables in France and issues at French nuclear fleet, check out the full episode. It is called France, How Safe Are Its Reactors? You can find it on the Montel Weekly podcast page via the Montel website, as well as on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You see, it's just there, next to the episode about gas and how low can its prices go. The Montel Weekly returns on the 2nd of August, and when we are back, I'm pretty sure we will be closely looking at the French energy landscape. And probably Chris Eales will tell us something more about the French fashion again. On this occasion, a big thank you to all our guests who shared their expertise and knowledge with the Montel Weekly and its listeners. And thanks to you for listening. Tune in on the 2nd of August. Bye!